Well, initially, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way because, I know everyone's going to ask. But I was deep sea diving last weekend, and my hand, I'm just joking. My life's more mundane than that. No. Vineyard accident. I know when people hear I'm a winemaker, everyone thinks I sit around and sip wine all day. But this is what happens when the vineyard bites back. So severed tendons, stitches, everything is good to go. But anyway, why I'm here today. So good afternoon. My name is Bertony Faustin, and I'm the managing partner of Abbey Creek Vineyard and Winery located in North Plains, Oregon. And now, just like some of you guys, I wear many hats. Some days I'm the winemaker, or the vineyard manager, or the sales rep. Other days I'm the marketing department. And then last but not least, I'm the janitor. So my vineyard is actually located in the West Hills of Portland. We're on 50 acres. I like to jokingly call it faux country because I'm 10 minutes from St. John's and another 10 minutes from Hillsborough. And being from Brooklyn, New York, that's about as country as I'm trying to get right now. Indeed. But today, I want to share a different type of success story. One that's not measured by the number of employees or zeros in your bank account, but one that's measured by freedom. Freedom to do you without worrying about conforming. Ultimately, it's the freedom to change the world by changing the game. Now, I can't take all of the hustle for being half amazing. This drive, passion, or what I refer to as hustle, it was bred into me. It began with my father, Haitian immigrant that escaped from his home country in the late 60s without any formal education. He came to build a better life for his family. It was his perseverance and true grit that made him not accept the norm, but to take a chance in a different path, even though things were exponentially more difficult. In the business world, I think I've heard it explained, you rather work 100 hours for yourself than 40 hours for somebody else. My pops was so comfortable, doing his own thing. He was doing yoga back in the 70s before it was actually cool to do it. He was a marathoner, and he ran around in these little itty-bitty running shorts, even though he was 6'1" and 230. Perseverance is what pushed him to go to work every day, where the white folks, they refer to him as boat people. Black Americans, they call him an Uncle Tom. And his Haitian brethren, both here and abroad, they shunned him because in their eyes, they feel that he somehow made it and wasn't giving back. To me, these are the qualities that being an entrepreneur is all about. That I'm going to be successful against all kinds of odds, things that the regular Joe doesn't usually tap into. So now I'm going to take you back to 2007, and that was the birth of my entrepreneurial start. After being in Oregon for about 8 years, I'm now married. I've got a 1-year-old and another one on the way. And in true Caribbean fashion, I've got about 3 jobs. So most people would say I was slacking. I worked as an anesthesia technician by day, massage therapist, and personal trainer at night. But still, nonetheless, I was punching the clock. But unbeknownst to me, August 27th was going to be the day that was going to change my life. Now, prior to this, a few years back, Pops was diagnosed with a pre-leukemic condition. The death rate for that was extremely low, and plus it was Pops, right? He was my Iron Man, so everyone felt that he would be okay. But one evening, I get a call from one of my sisters saying, don't panic. Pops had an incident last night, and he's in the hospital, but he should be fine. Now, hindsight, when I'm sitting with you now, I should have bought a ticket and went home, caught that flight. But I didn't. I went to work. So the next day, I get a call from my sister again. Pop's organs have shut down, and do you want us to wait until you get here to unplug the machines? The thing that's interesting about human nature is tragedy always evokes change. And it's up to us to whether that's going to be a negative or positive change. It was the passing of my father that made me be honest with myself and accept the fact that I wasn't happy, and then ask myself that question, what am I prepared to do in order to change that? Now at this time, I'm living over on the property on Germantown Road where the my in-laws have planted some grapes in order for farm deferral. Where all of our neighbors planted Christmas trees. So no one was truly doing wine or anything. So I decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and make wine. The odd part is I wasn't even a drinker prior to this whole, grand hustle. That's what I like to call it. I decided to pursue this industry that its moniker is, in order to make a small fortune, you start with a large one. And that, yeah. That's code word for you're not making any money, just letting you know that ahead of time. Again, you think about the stereotypical image of the wine industry. It's pedigreed family, well-traveled, well-versed in wine. A viticulture and enology degree from UC Davis. I had neither, but I had some grapes. So I was either too arrogant or too blind to see that there was no way I could be successful in this industry. Again, the industry, this was my time for now either make the choice to go back, punch the clock, or possibly take a chance, persevere. Or the term that is near and dear to my heart is hustle. So now we're going to go to present day, and I'm in front of you guys here today, and guess what? I'm still in business. Yes. My venture didn't turn out to be a grand opening, grand closing. I'm operating a tasting room in the least likely town and being successful. Now, a quick show of hands. Has anybody been to North Plains, Oregon? Again, so if you've been, you can attest. It's that quintessential Coors Light kind of town. And you laugh, but there's actually a church for every bar or a bar for every church. I'm not sure which one sounds better coming out. Actually, my building, that's my winery, it used to be a church when I bought it. So now with all of these odds against me, how is it that I'm successful? But the beautiful answer to this question is because I decided to do me. Now, let me remind you, this is an industry that people pride themselves on boring you to death about what kind of soil do you have? It's brown, Mm-hmm. Are those French oak barrels? And the one that really gets me is wow, look at the legs on that wine. Mm-hmm. Some of you have done that, haven't you? That's why y'all keep keying. Uh-huh. So early on, I knew that I could never live up to that kind of industry hype. I accepted the fact that everyone was not going to be my customer. Now, do you know what kind of freedom that gives me? Customers always comment on my passion and love for what I do, but honestly, I could leave this tomorrow without any regret if I wasn't happy. Yes, I'm passionate and excited about my career, but at the end of the day, it doesn't define me. It's just what I do. Now, I do have a little guilty pleasure. The beauty about being your own boss is I can tell people to kick rocks every now and then when I want to. And I know some of you have had that inkling as well with your customers. But now, I'm not sure how many of you guys have known or followed the wine industry, but May of 2015 marked 50 years of Oregon wine history here. And now, who would have ever imagined that I'd be the first recorded black winemaker in Oregon? Mm-hmm. Now, mind you, the industry didn't hold the parade for me. They didn't publicly announce it. So last May, I decided to create my own documentary. It's called Red, White, and Black. And it's going to cover my story and a group of underrepresented minorities as well, the LGBTQ community and women. So now, all of a sudden, I've been tasked with being a trailblazer, tasked with being the voice to inspire and empower others to take that chance, to persevere, and to hustle. And that all just started with me being me. So I guess, do I feel that I have this fail-proof system for being successful in the wine business or any other business for that matter? No. I've always said that I'll take luck and hustle over being good any day. There's a quote that a friend of mine and mentor, he mentions, own who you are. And you would be surprised that once you actually do that, how everything else just falls into place. So once I did that and was true to my own morals and happiness, I surrounded myself with like-minded individuals, who understood that collaborations aren't a threat, but rather assets that make us all look amazing in the end. That's when I truly felt success. So I know I'm watching Carola here before she puts the Grammy music, like rushing me along. I just want to say thank you for being here today and listen to my story. And I look forward to any relationships that we go further. Thank you.